Hey, it's me, and today we are baking. In lieu of the Thanksgiving spirit, I am going to be making a pumpkin roll. I found a recipe that claims to be really easy and mess-free, and considering the fact that I'm not amazing at my baking, I'm going to give it a try. You will need all-purpose flour, salt, baking soda, ground cinnamon, pumpkin pie spice, sugar, eggs, canned pumpkin, vanilla extract, cream cheese, butter, and powdered sugar. And since this claims to be so mess-free, I am looking forward to slightly less cleanup than usual. So let's get started. The first step, we're going to preheat the oven to 350 degrees. And then we continue prep. We have a 10 by 15 pan. This is a cookie sheet. And we are going to put some cooking spray on here. And then we're going to have parchment paper. Okay. And this parchment paper is to help us roll up the cake when it comes out of the oven. So you want to have a little overhang. It says about 1 inch. I don't know how we're going to keep that on there and keep it to where it won't. Maybe that'll help. And then it also says to put some cooking spray on the parchment paper as well. So we have that part done. We're going to set this to the side over here and grab a large bowl. In this bowl, we will mix our dry ingredients. We're going to add 3/4 cup of all-purpose flour. I have a 1/4 here, so that's 1/4, 2/4, and finally 3/4. And now a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Here that is. And then 1 teaspoon of baking soda. Okay. A teaspoon of ground cinnamon. Oh wow, that smells really yummy. There's that. And then 1 teaspoon of pumpkin pie spice. There we go. That's our dry ingredients. We're just gonna mix these together. We just wanna make sure that they're combined. Set that aside. Now we'll do wet ingredients. So you're gonna need 3 eggs. And I just realized I cut this really close because we have perfectly 3 eggs. So I better not mess this up. I have nothing to fall back on. And then we're gonna need 1 cup of granulated sugar. Here's half. And there's the rest of it. Then we will need 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. There is 1 teaspoon. And then finally, we will be adding pumpkin puree, 2/3 of a cup of it. 1/3, that made a funny noise. No, plop. 2/3, it's really aggressive. And now we're gonna mix these until smooth. This is what we're working with. I promise I'm smart enough not to dump that. Alexa, stop. Well, hey, bud. You good boy. You always come to visit, don't you? Alright, so now that that is mixed, we add the dry. Bless you. Now that we have that mixed, we're going to add Chance Oliver. Now that we've mixed this, we're going to add the dry ingredients. Which smells amazing, by the way. The cinnamon and the pumpkin pie spice do a lot of good. And now we are going to stir this until it's just combined and that there are no dry streaks. I honestly thought there'd be a lot more batter than this. It feels little. I'm not complaining. I'm sure it has to kind of be thin so that you can roll it. So I'm kind of wondering how this is going to turn out. But that looks good. So now we bring out the cookie sheet again and we spread it out evenly. All right. I'm going to spread this out. Try my best to make it as even as I can. And I say, that looks pretty good. Now, this will go into the oven for about 12 to 15 minutes or until a toothpick comes out clean in the center of it. And it goes. And now we wait for that. And while we're waiting, we're gonna go ahead and make our frosting. For the frosting, we are gonna add 8 ounces of cream cheese, softened. Am I the only person who would honestly eat a block of cream cheese? In college, sometimes I would make this snack where I would get cream cheese, any given amount of it, and then cinnamon, and I would put it in a bowl together and put it in the microwave for a few seconds, probably like 15 seconds, and get it out. You talk about a good snack. It tasted like dessert without any sugar whatsoever, and I don't know why I don't eat it more often, but it's yummy. And then we will need 2 tablespoons of butter, also softened. Mine currently is not softened, so I think what I'm gonna do is put these 2 in the bowl together and then put them in the microwave for a few seconds. Kind of like how I was just talking about doing. I'm gonna toss this in the microwave for a few seconds. Hopefully that will help me out a little bit. Yep, that softened it right up. That was 15 seconds for me. And now, we are going to add a teaspoon of vanilla extract. And then finally, 1 cup of powdered sugar. It's a lot of sugar, folks. Not for the faint of heart. You'll also need more for dusting later. However, the dusting is optional. I will be dusting. Now we're going to mix this with an electric mixer again. You're going to mix it until it is fluffy and smooth. I think it's always funny when I start mixing these, I immediately think, oh, this is gonna take forever to mix. And then 5 seconds later, it's already mixing almost perfectly. As per usual, I will do a taste test. And you already know it's amazing because it's just sugar and cream cheese and butter and vanilla. And with 3 minutes to spare. All right, it has been closer to 20 minutes and it's finally ready. So let's see the big reveal. There is our pumpkin cake. What I'm supposed to do is roll it while it's still hot. Obviously I can't touch it right now, but I will when it cools down a little bit so that when I do turn it, it doesn't crack. It makes for a pretty pumpkin roll apparently. So we're gonna give that a few minutes and then I will come back and try and roll it. I don't know how that's gonna work. Okay, so I read the instructions and it says immediately lift the parchment paper. So we're gonna figure this out. I'm not entirely sure how I'm gonna do this without getting hurt. So we're gonna try. It says to lift it out and onto a flat surface, and while it's hot, roll it up and then allow it to cool completely on a wire cooling rack. I'm gonna scoot this over. Not gonna lie, I'm a little scared. I don't want to mess this up, and I don't want to get hurt in the process either, because that would not be grand. Oh. And now it says to start it one end and completely roll it up. Turn it a little bit so maybe get a little grip on it. Okay, it is hot, but if you don't keep contact with it, it's like it's okay. So I'm okay right now. And you can also do this. Helps. I'm assuming we'll leave the edges out and then put it on a cooling rack. I'm actually gonna pull. Ooh, don't do that. There's definitely a little crack where I had to poke it with a knife. Should have poked it with a toothpick, but I didn't. But I think it'll be okay. I think we'll be fine. So I need to let this cool completely before I can do anything with the frosting. So I'll see you in quite a while. And I'm back. It has been probably about an hour and a half, which was the projected amount of time that it would take. I ended up putting this in the fridge for a little while and then pulled it back out so that it would be room temperature. I didn't leave it in there long enough to make it cold. I just left it in long enough to have no heat in it still. So we are ready to unroll this and put the frosting inside of it. It says to do this without the parchment paper now, so I'm kind of curious to see how this is gonna work. I think I'll just put it on a pan for now. This one should work. It's smaller than my other one, and it won't be the final serving dish, but it will work. I'm not 100% sure how I'm gonna do this and keep it from getting messed up. Ooh, that's really pretty. Oh, look how pretty. Oh, it's gonna crack a little bit. I'm trying to be gentle, but it is definitely going to crack a little bit. Because when you open it back up, it wants to stretch. Okay, let me set this aside. It's a very pretty color, by the way. I'm a really big fan of how this turned out just on its own. And I know that when I add this yummy goodness, it will be so much better. And I'm going to grab just a regular spoon. It says to apply an even layer over everything, leaving an inch border. So let's go ahead and get that done. Shouldn't take very long, I don't think. Okay, here is the finished product. I actually did not catch a lot of the icing and rolling up because my phone ran out of storage. So here we are. Things happen occasionally. So during the rolling up process, that little cut in it that I had to make to see if it was done completely opened up into a gash, as you can see here. But it did roll up nicely, and I put some powdered sugar on top to make it really pretty. It somewhat hides the gash. Here's what it looks like on one side, and here's what it looks like on the other. I feel like this side's the prettier one. I had to leave a 1-inch border around it. I feel like I should have filled it out to the ends here, but I wasn't sure what to do. But I really feel like this turned out nice. I have been wanting to try things like this for a while. I'm not very adventurous with my baking. I just want to do the basic, easy stuff. And I feel like this was kind of a step in the right direction. So I did something that was not just a straight up cake for once. And I think it turned out very nice. I know for a fact that this will taste fantastic, and I cannot wait to eat it. If you're thinking about giving this a try for your Thanksgiving festivities, I highly recommend it. The recipe was actually super easy to follow, and as an inexperienced baker who doesn't typically make pumpkin rolls, I think it turned out very nice, and I highly recommend it. I will put the link to the recipe that I used in the description below. And with that, I will see you all next week. I'm going to be making a pumpkin roll.